身是麦克马斯特的一个分校，后来呢独立出来呢，作为一个大学，而且这个大学里边包含很多，比方说机械工程系啊，商学院呐、还有医学院呐、法学院呢，都是非常有名气的，包括它的文学的这个学院也非常有名。那么呢，今天呢，我们请来呢那个 Jason 曹，给大家呢进行一下，就是说他在这个计算机机械工程系吧，计算机工程系里边他的一些体会和他呢对就是说对这个学习呢，包括这个大学的一些了解。那么呢，我把这个时间呢现在交给 Jason 曹，因为之前我们在等，可能是说大概有人进来，我们不希望这些人耽误听您的这个讲话嘛，对吧？听这个 Jason 的讲话，所以呢，我们现在呢把这个话语权交给 Jason，让他呢给自己简单介绍，因为我们这个整个呢都会是英文的来做 Jason，然后呢大家需要有什么问题呢，可以在这个 Zoom 的群聊里边写出来，这样的话，如果写中文我会翻译给 Jason，如果是英文他就可以直接回答。好，那好，Jason，现在把这个话语权交给你，感谢你能够抽出时间来给大家进行这个分享，好吧？
谢谢。Okay, hi everyone. My name is Jason. I am a third-year student at the University of British Columbia, in the Faculty of Applied Science or Engineering, and my specialization is in computer engineering. So I'm going to start off this presentation just starting to talk about my transition from high school into university at British Columbia. So starting off in high school, of course, we have like extracurriculars in high school. Everyone has different ones. The ones I mainly focused on were chess, basketball, basketball. I have some extra work and volunteering as well. Of course, every one of you in middle school, high school, you can have different extracurriculars. It doesn't really matter as long as you pick ones that you love, that you're passionate about, that you're interested about, and just keep pursuing them, right? In addition, I will also talk a little bit about the courses I took in high school, namely AP. So about the courses in high school, honestly, I did not do a lot of research. I kind of just took whatever courses I was interested in, right? So even though I am majoring in computer engineering right now, in high school, I took like a lot of biology, I took chemistry, I took like business, I took writing, I took like anything I was interested in. And I would encourage anyone in high school or middle school to start by taking courses that you're interested in. Take courses that you think you're cool, that you think are cool. Take courses that you think might have an impact later on, because in high school is kind of the time period where you want to experience different things. You're right. You don't have a lot of experience in the world yet. You're kind of just understanding how things work. I think this is a great time for you to kind of broaden your horizons. This is a great time to like learn different things, right? You don't know what you're interested in, or you might know what you're interested in, but you might not know like other areas of interest that you might want to pursue as well, right? A lot of people have questions such as like, how do I know what to major? How do I know what I want to do in the future? And I say by trying new things, right? And high school is, I think, a perfect time to try new things. So again, in high school, I picked a lot of variety of courses. In terms of AP, I did not actually do a lot of AP. I only did 2 AP courses, which might seem like on the lower side, lower amount. I just did AP Physics, AP Math. And this is because I had a lot of, well, not a lot, but I had my extracurriculars, chess and basketball, that took a lot of time. So I know a bunch of people, for example, they might do like a ton of like volunteering, cadets, etc. But instead, with my extracurriculars, I basically I was more focused, I was more narrow. For example, chess, right? I played chess for many years, over 10 years, traveling the world, doing tournaments, stuff like that. And that was my choice for extracurriculars, but it's totally fine if you want to do music, right? Sports, anything else, drawing, arts. It's really up to you. There is no one extracurricular that is like necessarily better than the other. It really depends on how you shape your own experience, right? So that was basically what I did in high school. And after high school, right, these experiences helped me go into university through the application. I'll touch more on that later. And when I got to university, of course, it was kind of a big shock, to be honest. In high school, I was pretty like lax with my work, right? Like I was putting in effort, but you know, I wasn't like studying 10 hours a day, doing my math homework, whatever, right? So when I hit university, first year engineering, I got kind of hit with like difficulty, right? So first off, I'll just go over the course load for my degree at least. So in first year engineering at UBC, it's around 6 or 7 courses per term. So the school year is split up into 2 terms. One is from September to December, and the second term is from January to May. So it's 6 courses per term, and each course has about 3 lectures, 3 hours of lecture per week. So that's about 18 hours of lecture per week, plus roughly 8 hours of labs and tutorials a week. So that's around like 26 hours of in-class instruction, which is actually less than most normal high school hours, right? Like most high schools, it's like from 8 to 3 maybe every day, Monday to Friday. So you actually have less in-class instruction time. But there is actually, I found the amount of work was actually way higher, and the difficulty of the courses were a lot more. So in our first year, one of my professors gave a very interesting take on the increased difficulty and learning in university, and they explained it. They explained it like this. So, for example, if you were learning to use like a hammer and nails, right? In high school, they might ask you to I don't know, hammer 2 pieces of wood together, right? Like on a test, they might ask you, okay, have a hammer and nail and hammer these 2 pieces of wood together, right? And you do it like it would be like a 1-step, pretty straightforward thing. You've seen it before. But then in university, they might teach you how to use a hammer properly. And then on the test, on the exam, they might ask you, okay, now make a chair, right? It adds an, the university problems add like a next level of complexity to it, right? Like you have the skills to do it, but you really have to kind of expand with your mind, right? Like more problem solving, more application, and it really just adds another dimension to the problems you experience in university compared to high school. And I found that to be generally true in my courses as well. They definitely allow you to expand more on your thinking. They definitely pressure you to kind of think in different ways, which you haven't before, right? And this is, of course, this is good. You want to be able to learn, you want to be able to stimulate your thinking, right, in university. Another thing I found was difficult was it's very easy to fall behind in university, especially if you, I don't know, skip a class or like you're sick or something, which is common. I mean, especially now, right, with coronavirus, getting sick, that would be terrible. But you really want to try to keep track of your courses, try to keep track on topic, up to date, because falling behind it's very easy, and catching up will be very difficult compared to high school, at least. Another thing I found about the courses, this can be both a pro or a con, depending on how you see it, but there is a lot more group work, at least for me in engineering. So of course, group work, it can be very good if all your members are on the same page, but it can also be pretty terrible if your members just are like don't are lazy, they don't care about the project at all. That one's kind of up to luck. But yeah, in general, in university, I found that there's a lot more projects and labs that are done on partners or in groups. Yeah. So moving on, I want to go in a little bit into university lifestyle. And of course, this is going to be quite different because of COVID-19, obviously. I assume most universities in the fall will be online, or at least for this next year will be online. I know UBC for the first term from September to December will be fully online. I'm not too sure about the second term, but again, it is very different, but there are still some common elements that you want to keep in mind, right? And namely, I think number one is health. Okay, so again, when you go to university, it will be a big step up from high school, right? Or whatever school you went to earlier. There'll be a lot more work. You'll be a lot more bogged down, right? And this is especially important. This time is especially important for you to take care of your body, take care of your health, because without being healthy, right? You're impacting your learning in a negative way. It's really common to see people like study for hours on end, sit in their room all day, just watch lecture videos, or just go to lecture and then come back, and then they have no time to cook, so they just like order fast food, order Domino's, order McDonald's, whatnot, and just kind of repeat this over and over, right? And when you do this for months on end, over the course of a school year, it really takes a toll on your body, right? And you can't be your best at learning. You can't be your best academically when your body is not its best, right? So it's very important, even with COVID going around, right, to like eat well, exercise well. And I know this was definitely a problem when I was in first year. I okay, the food at UBC, right? So in first year, I stayed on res. The food was not the greatest, but it was okay. But I think I was kind of just stuck in my room the whole time. I didn't like exercise a lot, and then that kind of affected me later on, right? You lose energy, you lose motivation, whatnot. So, and it's been scientifically proven too, right? Exercise like gives you more energy, helps you learn more. So that's important. I'd urge you all to like maybe go on a run a couple times a week, right? Be more mindful of what you eat. Some more, another thing that's important is you get more, when you hit university, you have a lot more freedom and responsibility. And I guess this is more true if you were to live on campus or live away from home. So in my experience, when I was in first year, I moved on campus, right? So I don't live in Vancouver. So when I moved on campus, I was living away from home, living by myself. Well, with a roommate, but essentially by myself. And basically, I was left to do whatever I want, right? Like it was, the profs don't like care if you show up to lecture, right? You have to show up because you want to learn, right? You don't really have to do anything. You're in control of your life. And this is where you kind of have to have discipline, right? You have to have motivation to go to your lecture. You have motivation to go exercise. You have to motivation to get food, which actually can sometimes be a problem, because if you're so busy, sometimes even you forget about getting food, which can be a problem. So yeah, like it is, having extra freedom is nice. You can explore, you can do like live your life to the fullest, right? But also keep in mind you have responsibility. University it's a important time in your life, and you want to enjoy it, right? But you also want to get something out of it. You want to get your education, right? And again, important, do not skip. Try your best not to skip lectures, okay? And I think this might be especially hard if you have online classes, right? Through videos and stuff, you might be tempted, oh, I'll just watch it later. I'll just like sleep in maybe and like watch this video lecture later. Try your best to wake up and watch your videos, because it'll go a long way, right? You might think it's like not a big deal to watch it later, but it's like, that's where the discipline starts, right? You want to be on track, you want to be on time, and you actually learn a lot more when you're actually like actively engaging in the lecture in real time. And in addition, university lifestyle, you want to, it's not just all about learning, right? You want to enjoy your time there as well. So I guess this is more relevant for when I guess classes go on campus, but really take the time to explore the campus, right? Explore the city. So UBC is in Vancouver, right? Vancouver it's an incredible city. It's a beautiful city. There's like there's beaches everywhere, there's parks, there's gardens, there's mountains to hike on, right? And if you were just stuck at university stuff, like just in your room learning all the time, right, you miss out on so many incredible things. So I urge you, when classes go on campus, right, when you're at your university, to really explore, because university is a lot more than just learning academically, right? You want to make the most of your time there. And in addition, there's also a lot of clubs and stuff offered in general, just in any university. For UBC specific clubs, I know there's literally more clubs than I can think of, right? Of course, I'm in the chess club. There's a ton of design teams for those interested in engineering or technology, right? I have friends building cars, remote cars that you can drive. I have friends building rockets. There's a rocket design team, which is actually incredible. And there's so many more that I don't even know about, but they're definitely super interesting, right? As for clubs, right? There's like language clubs, dancing clubs, public speaking, like you name it. So definitely you want to take some time, look at the different clubs, and pick out some that interest you, because they're definitely part of your university lifestyle, and you would just be missing out if you weren't a part of it, right? Intramurals as well, although I'm not quite sure how relevant that is with COVID going around, but that is also something that I did, which was very important for my university experience. All right, so the next thing I want to touch upon is what you learn at university. And I'm not talking about like academically, right? Like math and stuff. I'm talking more of non-academic skills, right? More like life skills, if you say so. So the first thing I want to start off with is learning how to learn. And the important thing about this is it doesn't just start in university, right? It's probably, well, it has started even in middle school, even in high school, right? A lot of you in high school might be wondering like why you're learning a lot of stuff, right? Let's say you have like an interest in biology or something, and then you're wondering, why am I learning about this math concept, right? Why am I learning about like quadratic equation? Like I'm never going to use this in my life, which could very well be true, right? Like you could very well just never use these concepts that you're learning in your life. But the key takeaway here is you're not learning the skills just for the skills itself, right? In the whole process, you're actually learning how to learn, and this is going to be very important later on in your life too, because wherever you go, right? Like if you go to internship, go to job, whatever, there's going to be skills you don't know, and you're going to have to learn them. And and you have to be efficient in the way you learn these new skills, right? And so this whole education, you've had this whole life leading up to it, you've just been learning how to learn, right? And this happens a lot in university as well. This is where you really discover your effective learning habits, right? First year, for example, in math, right? I almost failed a midterm. I like that was like a big wake up call for me. And then that's when I realized, right, perhaps the way I was studying for math so far wasn't that effective. I had to look back, right, reconsider how I was learning, how I was studying the material, and develop or test better systems, right? And there's a whole process behind that. And hopefully in university or even in high school, middle school, you get to refine your process of learning, which is very important, right? And also you learn a lot of soft skills. So what I mean by soft skills is stuff like communication, right? Stuff like teamwork, um, time management, which is huge. So at university in general, I think there's a lot more group-based work, right? And this is where kind of communication and communication really comes into play here, right? You want to there's a lot of communication between your group members, right? But there's also a lot of communication between professors as well, because a lot of times professors give out assignments that are like really vague and you're not quite sure what they mean, right? You have to be able to communicate effectively in order to understand what they really mean, right? And a lot of times also in lecture, right? Like a lot of material might be very confusing, very hard to understand. You have to communicate. You have to communicate to the prof so they can communicate better to you, right? It's like a two-way deal type of thing. So communication is very big. Also, time management, probably one of the most important, right? You're juggling multiple classes. You're juggling multiple assignments. You also have to factor in stuff like your clubs, right? Your own hobbies, your exercise. Maybe you need to cook. You need to go get groceries. You need to sleep, right? Which is very important. You have to juggle all these things, all these different timelines and stuff. And learning how to manage your time, how to effectively use your time is very important, right? And this is something you're constantly learning. And this is something I'm still learning, right? I actually have pretty terrible time management. I'm still working to improve. Another thing might not apply to all of you, but this will be important, is budgeting, right? So a lot of you, especially if you start living on your own, this is when you might start thinking about your future jobs, your work, whatnot. You have to learn how to budget, right? If you're living away in another city, right, you have to worry about rent. You have to worry about food, transportation, stuff like that. And there's also a lot of like university fees, right? So this is for a lot of you, the first time you move out of home, budgeting suddenly becomes a thing in your life, right? And this is where you start learning and getting those skills. One more thing I want to touch upon is kind of criticism and open mindset. This is extremely important if you want to learn to grow, right? You're going to make mistakes. Everyone does. I make mistakes, but the important thing is to be able to take criticism, right? To take advice from other people, to take suggestions, and to realize, oh, maybe I made a mistake here. Let's just move on, try to improve, right? That's very important. And also know that, right? Even though you might not think you're good enough, but right, if you work hard, it's possible to do well, right? University is it's hard. I would say it's very hard. Well, not very hard, but it's difficult, but it's not impossible, right? If you put in the time, put in the effort, it's doable. It's not like some impossible like classes, like impossible tests. I don't think those exist. It just means you didn't put enough time. And I have been guilty of not putting enough time in on multiple occasions, and I kind of suffered some consequences because of that. Mhm. All right, so the next topic I want to talk about is what I am currently learning in my classes. So um, again, I'm in computer engineering. What that is it's a blend of electrical engineering and computer science, right? I kind of integrate both together. And since a lot of computer systems is both hardware and software, right? So knowing both sides of the coin is very important. Um, one of my project courses I just finished in May, we were building an autonomous robot car. Okay, so we had to so it's like a small robot car. We have to wire it right with so we have batteries. We have to wire design the whole circuit for the car. We have to assemble it, and then we also have to program it, right? So the wiring and stuff and the circuits was the hardware challenge, and then we also have to program the car to be able to follow lines on the ground, right? So basically, there was black tape on the ground that a robot car had to be able to follow. So this is again like a blend of electrical engineering and computer science, right? Um, some other projects we're doing in my classes. One of them involves machine learning. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of machine learning, artificial intelligence. It's like a super hot topic right now. Um, basically, of in that class, we built hardware accelerators to facilitate in a machine learning program. And specifically, the hardware accelerator is used to speed up a process in the neural network called matrix multiplication. So I'm not sure if a lot of you heard of matrix multiplication, but it's it's uh, it's a technique that is used in machine learning neural networks, um, and it's often a very time-consuming process. Okay, so the goal for our project was to build accelerators, hardware accelerators, um, to help speed up the process, right? To help speed up the bottleneck, and basically we used computer programs to design chips, right? Or design microcontrollers. So literally at the gate level um, in your computer, uh, where the wires are, we design a computer chip or a microcontroller to help speed up this process. So those are some of the topics that I have been learning in my class. Those are the especially interesting ones, I would say. Moving on, I'll go over some of questions that have been sent to me through WeChat or um, Zoom. Let me see the questions here. So question one, what is your impression of UBC and what do you like the most? So I think UBC is a great school. It's really incredible, and there's there's too many things I like about it. um, I think one thing that really stands out is the amazing people that go there. Right? It's a really diverse university. People from all over the world, all over Canada, and everyone who goes there, I find they're like extremely motivated, right? They're passionate about what they're learning. As well, the profs there, like there's some bad profs, right? Like some profs, you always get some bad profs, but a lot of profs, they're very nice. Their research is in incredible subjects, and overall, it's just a great institution. And of course, Vancouver, right? One of the best cities ever, I have to say. Um, Now, question number two, why did I choose computer engineering? Um, this is a good question. So in in high school, um, I took a IT class, a programming class in high school, just randomly, right? Because remember earlier I was saying in high school, take like what you think is interesting, what you think is cool, right? in high school, I didn't even know programming was a thing. So, and then I found this programming class. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just try it out, right? So I took it, I tried it out, and I really enjoyed it actually. It was I had a great time in the class. I enjoyed it a lot, and I just kept taking like the high level ones, right? I started out like the grade 9 course, the grade 9 version of IT course, and then like IT 11, IT 10, IT 11, and eventually I just found this was my favorite subject, right? Like I also took biology, I also took chemistry, I also took physics, but I found that just IT programming was just my my favorite among them. So that's what led me to choose computer engineering. Now, I guess I also could have went towards computer science, right? But I was also interested in kind of the hardware aspect. And I think it's more interesting to know both hardware and software, right? Aspects of computer rather than just pure software, right? Which is computer science. Question 3, what are the main scores for UBC university applications? Um, I guess this question is asking what are the main scores that UBC looks at for your university applications? Um, so for UBC admissions, it's broken down into 2 parts, I think. So is one is your GPA, and number 2 is your personal profile. And I don't think they say specifically like how much weight each part is, but they do reiterate that your personal profile is very, very important. So your GPA obviously pretty self-explanatory, right? You want to get that as high as possible. But your personal profile is like this is where you really get to show like who you are as a person, right? You get to show off your extracurriculars, for example, your sports, your achievements in volunteering, right? Your job experience, what you accomplish that cannot be shown with just a letter grade, right? So even if maybe you're struggling a little bit in school in your grades, right? It's important to have a lot of these experiences built up to be able to write a very strong personal profile, because the university does take into great consideration what you put into the personal profile and all the essay questions that you have to answer. What is the GPA when applying for college? GPA, it really depends on what you major in. I think UBC Arts, like obviously UBC Arts has a lower requirement than engineering. I think on average, I don't know the exact number, so don't quote me on this, but I think on average it's above 99% for UBC Arts, I think, or around 90. Average is maybe 90% for UBC Arts. For engineering, it's I believe it's above 95%, 95% from high school. But don't quote me on that because I don't know the exact numbers. What extracurricular activities are there in high school? There is so many. I just listed off a couple that I did, right? For example, chess. I played on like national chess team, right? Basketball. I played in high school on the school team. Volunteering. I did like some tour guide stuff in my city, and so those are just mine, right? I didn't do a lot, but I really focused on the extracurriculars I did, right? But of course, you can do something completely different, right? Like for example, I'm not very musically talented, right? But a lot of people are. So I know a lot of people, they're amazing at piano, right? Amazing at the violin, amazing at singing. Those are all things that you can do, right? Music is something you can do. Sports is very big. Volunteering, right? Volunteering, helping the environment, volunteering in different places. Those are huge things. Extracurriculars, they're just there's a lot, right? And you just want to do stuff that you're interested in, right? Do stuff that you're passionate about. And for me, that was chess and basketball. So those are what I did. But What you're passionate about could be completely different, and that's totally fine. But the important thing is just to keep going at it, and they'll definitely help with your personal profile, right? What are the benefits of playing chess? Okay, so there's a lot of benefits of playing chess. Off the top of my head, right? There's good let me see, critical thinking, right? Problem solving. In chess, you have to look at the position, right? You have to think about the best plans of attack, how they're going to deal with your attack, and how you can counter, etc. Right? So this is a very back and forth game. You have to constantly think. You have to constantly adapt your play style, adapt your plans to what your opponent's doing. It also teaches a lot of patience, right? Because a lot of times in chess, when you play, right, your first move might not be the best move. Or you might see a move and you want to play it instantly, right? And oftentimes this might be a mistake, right? You really want to be patient and look at all your options before deciding upon a move. And chess kind of teaches that, right? It teaches you to be patient, to look at all your options, to study all your options before proceeding with your choice, right? In choice in life, it could be anything. Yeah, exactly. So critical thinking teaches you patience, and it's just good. Also, it's good for your memorization and spatial recognition, pattern recognition. Again, so it's just very good for your brain. It's kind of like a brain exercise, right? Kind of like the brain version of like sports, basically. So I encourage you, if you're interested, to start learning chess, to start playing chess. You don't have to be like a grandmaster level, like world class, right? But just learning, just playing, it can definitely help you. Question 8. Let me see here. Compared with U of T and Waterloo engineering program, what is the advantage of UBC engineering program? That's a good question. I think the 3 programs are actually very similar. There aren't very like clear, distinctive advantages. I have some friends in well, I have multiple friends in computer engineering over at Toronto, and we talked about our course and stuff, and the material that we learn at UBC compared to Toronto is actually very, very similar. Okay. I can't say for sure for Waterloo because I don't know anyone directly in Waterloo engineering, but the people in Waterloo software engineering, again, it's pretty similar. Well, they do a little bit more software and a little bit less hardware. Okay. Again, you have great co-op opportunities in all three universities. I can't speak too much on Toronto or Waterloo since I don't know them that well, but overall, it's they're very similar. Question 9. The cost of living in Vancouver should be higher than that in Toronto, right? How much does average room and board cost in a year? So yeah, so rooming, finding a place in Toronto, or sorry, in Vancouver is can be pretty expensive. If you were to live on campus, I think the average campus rooms, it depends on if you get like a suite, like a studio suite, or if you get like a shared suite with other people. It can start at 800, I think, or 900, maybe 900 something, up to maybe like 1200, 1300 for a month. And one like school year is 8 months, right? So if you get like a more expensive place, 1200 times 8, I think that's like 9600 per year. There's also places off campus. So for example, me and my friends in second year over the summer, we rented like a whole house and then just split the cost, right? And then that came out to be about 900 per month, just from rent, which is, I guess, all right. It's all right. There was also commuting involved, but I think it's Vancouver is generally cheaper than Toronto. I think I read somewhere it's like 13% cheaper, but I'm not too sure. What are the reasons for choosing UBC University? Why didn't you choose Ontario University? It was actually really close. I was deciding between UBC and U of T for a very long time. Ultimately, I decided to go to UBC because first of all, it's closer to my home, right? I live in Victoria, which is just one ferry ride away from UBC. So if I wanted to go back home, see my parents or whatnot, it's only like a couple hours, right? I take the bus to the ferry, take the ferry, and I'm home. Toronto, it'd be much farther away. Also, again, cost of living is cheaper in Vancouver. I believe tuition at UBC is also cheaper in Vancouver compared to Toronto. But I'm not too sure. I'll have to check the numbers. And in general, just Vancouver is an amazing city, right? I just love Vancouver. Toronto is great too, but personally, I just find Vancouver better. So yeah, that's why I ultimately went with my decision to go to UBC there. Question 11, what is the percentage of Chinese students in the university? I don't think UBC releases like ethnicity demographics to the public, at least. I don't even know if they keep track of it. But I think there are around 25% international students at UBC. But I don't know how much of that is from China. But also like a lot of domestic students, right? Domestic students, they might be from China as well, just they might be going to high school in BC. But from experience, right, just walking around the campus, going to my classes, there's a lot of Chinese people. So yeah, I don't know the exact percentage. Question 12, where's the employment direction of graduates? This really depends on it could depend on what you're majoring in, right? So for me, in computer engineering, I could be going into like a software job, for example. I could go into hardware, because I have like both avenues, right? Electrical engineering and computer science. For other majors, you have different options, right? So for example, I have a friend, they want to be a lawyer. So right now they're doing philosophy, they're majoring in philosophy, and then after they grad, they'll be taking their LSAT and then going to law school, right? So that's another area you can go to. But sometimes what you major in can be completely irrelevant with what you actually end up doing work in, right? So I have a friend. He was a forestry graduate, okay, a faculty of forestry, but now they're working at an education company, doing private tutoring, and he started his own education company. So which is completely different from forestry, right? So it just goes to show that just because you major in something specific, you might not have a job in that specific area in the future. Question 13. What other majors at UBC University are worth recommending? There's a lot of good majors at UBC. I think the business school is very popular. So Sauder Business School, that's a very popular choice. I have a lot of friends learning business there. Also, I believe economics is also very popular. Again, there's so many choices, right? And all of them are very good. It's up to you to kind of do some research, to think about what you're interested in, right? Because obviously, if I'm not that interested in biology, for example, right? So it wouldn't make sense for me to go do biochem or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of good options out there. Just take your time. You can go on the website, UBC website, and probably do some research. It'll probably show you all the majors that they have. Number 14, can you introduce the major of computer engineering? So like I said earlier, computer engineering is a blend of electrical engineering and computer science. And there's a lot of work on computer systems, stuff like that. And building computer systems, when you do that, right, you can't just focus on only software, only hardware. You have to combine the two. And there's a lot of stuff on, for example, security. There's a lot of stuff on like optimizations in hardware and software. And you can really like lean towards your side, right? For example, I have in computer engineering, you get a bunch of electives, right? And depending on your interest, you could lean towards maybe more like network systems. You can lean towards more sort of like hardware circuits, like design, stuff like hardware design like that. Or you could go more towards like software and algorithms and the more like computer science side, right? It's pretty flexible. It's a pretty flexible major. Okay, so I think I'll go on to some of the questions in chat here. Sorry, I'm just gonna grab a drink of water. Quick. Would you please talk about some good strategies of time management? Any good resource to learn about? I don't know any resources to personally learn about, or I don't know any resources. I'm sure you could find some online. Time management. Some people use like a calendar or an agenda. That's a very good idea, right? Because oftentimes with your multiple classes, you have multiple assignments in your multiple classes. It's hard to keep track, right? So it's good to write down all the stuff you have to do, all the assignments you have to do, and you just want to I think part of a good time management is to limit the amount of time you procrastinate, right? This might be a problem for many people. It is a problem for me. It was a problem for me, and it still is. If you really limit, catch yourself procrastinating, you want to try to limit that, and you'll have more time to do actual studying, right? Like a good technique maybe is to have like set blocks of times, set like blocks, like maybe 1 hour, 2 hour blocks aside for studying, and then like have breaks in between, right? Time management. I think everyone has their own style. Yeah, everyone has their own style. So some people it works for them by writing everything down in like a notebook or a agenda or something. I personally don't use that, but it works for some people, right? I think yeah, I think a big thing about time management is just procrastination, right? I think that's really the source of a lot of time management problems, and aiming to get your procrastination under control is a big part of that. Let me see. Next question: does UBC electrical engineering have co-op program required? So in UBC engineering, co-op program is not required, but it's strongly recommended. Yeah, so you don't need to have co-op experience to graduate, but most people try to apply for it, and most people do try to find internships during their degree to try to get some experience, right? Which high school subjects does UBC look at for the application for your major? English, math, etc. I don't think they look at any subject in particular. You just have to, I think they only look at the overall GPA, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, so, One important thing is though, at UBC, which is the system is slightly different than Toronto or Waterloo. Okay, so when you apply for engineering or for science, you don't directly go into like computer engineering or mechanical engineering, for example, right? At UBC, first year is all general. So what that means is in my first year, all the first year engineers are in like a general engineering group, right? And then at the end of first year, you have to apply for your different engineering specifications, right? So for example, after first year, I applied to computer engineering. Other people may apply to mechanical engineering, etc., right? And it's a competitive basis. It's like competitive to see which specialization you get into. And in those cases, they'll look at like your like specific courses from your first year. So for example, if you apply to computer engineering, they'll look at your computer programming course from first year, weigh it more heavily. That's like the only case where UBC weighs courses, I think. But in high school, I think they just look at the overall GPA. Just make sure you have the correct prerequisites though, to be able to apply for your faculty, right? Like if you want to apply for engineering, you want to be sure to have your math, your physics, your chemistry. You want to be sure to be able to complete those courses so you have the prerequisites. Is there any more questions?
So I think from here they didn't have more question, but there is a from WeChat question. They said because you
Okay.
choose the 2 AP, like you
Yeah.
said, math and physics is really helpful on your university study for the first year or application.
Okay. So I only did 2 AP, which is on the low side. So math and physics. I think they were actually they're actually very helpful. I would encourage you to do them, do AP or maybe IB. I don't have experience with IB. My school didn't offer it. So I'm only talking about AP. Actually, I used AP credit to drop one of my courses. So I took AP Calculus AB, right? Which is the equivalent of Math 100. So first year differential calculus. I used it to drop. I just dropped that course because I had credit for it, right? Some people, they choose to not drop it and they choose to retake it, right? Which you basically get an advantage because you basically learn the material or learn most of the material already through the AP course. So the second time you're taking in university, it'll definitely be easy, right? It'll be an easy learning curve for you because you won't be learning this material fresh, right? You've already had exposure to it. For me personally, I dropped it because I didn't want to take 7 courses in one term. I thought that was way too much, so I just didn't want to. I didn't want to like worry about that. But some people took it like as a GPA booster, right? Because since you already learned AP, it'll be easier the second time around. As for helping your application, I'm not sure how much. I don't know how much it'll actually help your application. It might be very minimal, if at all, but it'll help a lot once you actually get into university. Have you attended any clubs in high school? Was it helpful for your university application? I was not in a lot of clubs. So I guess the closest thing to a club I was in was basketball, or yeah, basketball. So I played on my school's basketball team all 4 years. I think it was. I imagine it was pretty helpful for my personal profile, right? Because playing the sport, like a team sport like basketball, for example, it really helps build your communication, right? Builds your work ethic, and it's also good for your time management, right? Because you have to juggle like your practices, your games with like your normal schoolwork and your other stuff. So yeah, I think going to clubs, it'll definitely be helpful for your university application. Just I just went to basketball because I spent most of my time playing chess. Chess was the vast majority of my time. Chess took up the vast majority of time in my life before university. That was the main thing I focused on, and that was kind of like a solo endeavor. So I didn't have a lot of time for other club activities, but definitely if you have time, club activities will help, especially if it's in your interest and it's kind of towards like the area of your major. How many credits are required for your program? Do you have a minor in another program? I can't remember exactly how many credits. I think for engineering, it's around 160 credits. So you do about 40 credits per year. You can extend it if you want. I think for other programs, I think for arts it's only 120 credits, but I'll have to you'll have to check online for the specific number. Do you have a minor in another program? I was thinking about getting a minor. I've decided against it. I was thinking about getting a business minor, or no, a commerce minor. So in engineering, right, you have to take a bunch of economics courses, engineering economics. I also took a bunch of economics courses as my electives, right, free electives. And so I was already working my way towards like a econ, like commerce minor, but I eventually decided against it because it would just like the timing wasn't gonna work out, and like I might have to extend my degree, etc. So I ultimately decided against it. What are challenges in high school? How to overcome them? So I think in high school, challenges. I think in high school, I don't remember too many challenges. Obviously, when I was in high school, right, I thought like high school, I guess like with hindsight, right, I don't think it's challenging. Probably at the time, I definitely did, right? At the time, I thought like high school AP classes, like they weren't hard, right? I mean, sorry, they were hard. Obviously now that I have like more perspective on it, I don't think it's that hard. But at the time, I definitely thought they were hard. I think high school is a good time to start building good studying habits, right? To overcome them. If you just like kind of like glide your way through high school, right? Like not studying too much, that might come back to bite you when you hit university, right? Where stuff is much harder to cram. So in high school, right, you want to start maybe start building like a solid study regimen. For example, to try to limit the amount of cramming you do. I know in high school, I study for my test last minute, like all the time, right? And that technique, it doesn't work in university, right? You cannot learn all the material last minute, the day before the exam. And yeah, so I had to adjust that from high school to university. Also in high school, just you want to experience a lot of things, right? You want to just take courses that you think are interesting. You never know like what you might like. You want to like just do like extracurriculars, try different extracurriculars, right? To see what you like. Yeah, so that's high school. Last question will end Zoom.
Yeah, so if there are nobody ask question, I give you last question so you can answer. Like we heard from your experience in high school and the university, looks like the university is more harder than high school you experienced. And what your future you want to go? Because you just say your classmates or somebody, you know, go the other different field. Are you going to the graduate school or you want to go to, you know, the work directly? What's your plan for the future?
So I'm considering graduate school. Obviously, I guess I should start thinking about it soon. I'm still not too sure yet. I kind of want to I'm still looking for like internships as well, co-op as well. Obviously it's a little bit harder right now with the virus situation going on. In the future, I'm aiming to go into a field of hopefully relating to machine learning, hopefully artificial intelligence, right? I think that's a field that's really interesting to me. And yeah, that's something I want to pursue. Some relate to machine learning, artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very like popular for the AI.
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, it's a very popular topic these days.
So this is like for the future, if the student in the high school, they want to go to like AI, like technology, like the new one, they better choose the computer engineering, right?
Yeah, computer engineering is great. Computer science is fine too. Yeah, yeah, computer, but also like a lot of you, if you want to go into like I think, let me think, like Tesla, for example, right? Like everyone knows Tesla, like super popular company, right? Like I think they want a lot of computer engineers, obviously like senior computer engineers. So I'm like not even close to being qualified, but like that's an option in the future, right? You can work in like these big tech companies. You have a lot of choice, and with like your combined knowledge of like hardware and software, right? It'll really help you with these like with new technology.
Okay, so I think because we already passed the time, 9, but we gave all the answers, also the sharing to everyone from the, you know, the parents or also the high school or middle school student. I think it's really helpful for, you know, everyone, but we still thank you for Jason, right? Have time to, you know, share with others and, you know, have this opportunity let people know about the UBC, like a beautiful city, beautiful university. I heard about it. I visited once, but you know, thank you for your time, and we hope, you know, we will continue next week to see another, you know, student to share their experience in the business school in UBC.
Yeah.
Thank you, you know, Jason. So say, you know, bye to everyone.
All right.
And we will see you, you know, in some way.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you sometime in the future, I guess. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.